Hi guys, it's Izzy and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing another informational style of video. It's actually going to be a continuation of my surveillance series. It's going to be a bit longer than my first surveillance video, so take a seat, get your coffee, get your popcorn, whatever you need. Let's get into it. I really hope by the end of the video you guys gain more of a holistic understanding of surveillance because it really does have so many positive and negative aspects to it. So in relation to that, we're going to be looking at data collection in terms of voter surveillance, so how surveillance works in the world of democracy. We're also going to be looking at the positive and negative aspects of data collection. And then we're going to be having a look at some self-surveillance. So we're going to look at the Panopticon concept and we're going to see how relevant that is in our society as well. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to have a look at our data collection and its role in voter surveillance. So we're going to have a look at Professor Colin J. Bennett and Smith, Orduro, Marfo in their article Privacy, Voter Surveillance and Democratic Engagement, Challenges for Data Protection Authorities, and this is their 2019 article. So essentially what this article focuses on is the ethical and moral questions here to do with collecting people's data in order to win votes and in order to win over people. How do they do this? Well, there's predictive tools and they're used to classify or profile people's personality traits, characteristics, mood, and other points of leverage to a large extent, allowing assumptions to be made about deep personality traits, including political views and other special categories of data. So in relation to this, the European Data Protection Supervisor says that the diminution of intimate space available to people as a result of unavoidable surveillance by companies and governments has a chilling effect on people's ability and willingness to express themselves and form relationships freely, including in the civic sphere that is essential to the health of democracy. So not only are we affecting the privacy of people, but we're actually affecting the health of democracy. So we're affecting the overall fairness that is occurring in, or lack of, in democracy these days. So these predictive tools are not only problematic for breaching people's privacy, but it's also problematic for the manipulation that comes with it. So it's absolutely disturbing how people can just collect all this information about what people like, what people don't like, and they use that in order to get ahead, get votes, and overall win. Not only that, but there is the issue of voter suppression that occurs when we have data collection. So I'm sure you guys have all heard of fake news. Well, fake news is really problematic for people who are trying to, win, people who are trying to win over people as well. So what happens is fake news has a direct relationship to pragmatic advertising and to the impersonal algorithms that are designed to detect and target individual consumers, often without their knowledge and consent. So here we are again, we're breaching people's privacy, we're breaching people's trust. So if we look at the 2016 Trump campaign, it relied on personalized negative messages using Facebook advertising tools such as dark posts and targeted individual voters on the basis of race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status. We do have a lot of issues here to do with freedom of speech. We have issues to do with manipulation. And we have issues to do with privacy. So there are a lot of negative aspects of data collection in terms of how it's being used within voter surveillance. In relation to that, if we have a look at the Cambridge Analytica, it illustrated how a potential infringement of the right to protection of personal data could affect other fundamental rights, such as freedom of expression and freedom to hold opinions and the possibility to think freely without manipulation. So that basically sums it up really nicely what all of this does to people. Well, we're going to move on now and we're going to have a look at the Panopticon concept and we're going to be having a look at some self-surveillance. So we're going to have a look at the Andrew White article and we're going to be having a look at Michel Foucault's explanations of how modern state controls us psychologically instead of physically. So in order to demonstrate this, Foucault looks at a new prison created by British social reformer Jeremy Bentham. Bentham's Panopticon is circular, so it had cells all around the external walls, and then in the middle it had a watchtower. So what's interesting here is that the inmates just assumed that they were being watched the entire time, and as a result they would act accordingly. So they would act disciplined towards the idea that they thought they were being watched the entire time. And what this did was decrease the need for having actual guards inside the watchtower. So this is where that self-surveillance comes into play. So Foucault is trying to demonstrate here how there are extremely modern ways that we are being controlled and we are being governed, but it's all occurring in our mind. We're self-governing ourselves. So we spoke about Foucault's example of how self-surveillance occurs within the Panopticon concept, you know. So the inmates think that they're being watched in that watchtower the entire time. So therefore, you know, it's these psychological tricks that are being played on their minds in order to get them to behave and be controlled and act accordingly. So if we think about, you know, some more relatable examples, you think about school, you know, you're taught, you're disciplined to be aware of your teacher in the classroom. Your teacher is watching you, your teacher is observing you, your teacher is surveilling you, and you have to act accordingly. You can't act up in class, you have to follow rules, all of that kind of stuff. So it's self-surveillance is so prevalent in our day-to-day life, and it's so interesting how modern state is controlling us in these psychological way. But we're going to have a look at some more positive aspects of data collection now, and we're still going to be looking at that Andrew White article in order to support this. So just something really brief. Basically the article discusses that data collection can be really useful in cases of emergencies. So say like you had a medical emergency, you needed to go into hospital, you needed like a quick surgery, or you needed to be taken care of quickly. The hospital stores all of your medical history. It has all of your medical records, which is going to make it so much easier for you to be taken care of because the doctor and nurses have complete access to all of your medical files. So they can see if you're allergic to anything, you have any bad reactions to certain medicine. They have all of that information so accessible and so ready, which means that, you know, it's time productive, you could save a life, you know, and it makes it easier for those healthcare workers to do their job and take care of you. Alright guys, well that's it from me today. I hope that you all learned something. I hope you understand the positive and negative aspects of surveillance. I hope you understand how prevalent it is in our society. Think about that self-surveillance. Think about, you know, some more close to home examples of surveillance. You know, think about your own home, how it occurs. Yeah, so that's all from me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.